confirmed. You're listening to the KATcast, a weekly podcast from the staff you love to listen to each weekday on 94.3 Cat Country. Killian Hart and Jordan J. Now, here they are, talking about life, love, and everything mid-Missouri.
Welcome back to another KATcast. We got a very fun topic today.
We do.
So
this should be good.
Yeah, we've had many conversations about this in the past, but never like on microphone, on podcast. So what we're doing is we're talking about weird, bizarre dreams that we've had.
Okay, where this started, Jordan and I were in the car. We were going to get lunch. We brought lunch back for Aaron, too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where this came from. I just blurted. I go, hey, Jordan, you ever dreamt like you're on the toilet and then you give birth? He goes, what?
This is what I work with.
He goes, have you dreamt that? I go, a few times in my life.
I was like, no, I don't think I've had that dream
So
before.
for you, that's a reoccurring dream.
Well, I mean, I can probably
said a few times in your
I can
life.
probably count on one hand the number of times, but still. Yeah.
So I've had the dream, and it's been reoccurring, where I'm chewing gum, and all of a sudden I realize I'm chewing my teeth.
Ooh. I've had the dream
And
where
I
like
run to the sink and I spit.
Yeah.
Oh, my it's awful.
There is a whole thing about losing your teeth. There's a psychological thing there.
It's like an anxiety thing, isn't it?
It's something about losing. I think it's about losing control or something
like that. It's like the fear of like losing control or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I am a bit of a control freak.
You are.
Listen, I've had that dream though. I've had the dream of like my teeth falling out or whatever. And then I know. And you wake up and you're kind of like, they're all there. Woo!
Oh yeah. But for me, every time I'm chewing gum, and then all of a sudden I'm like crunch, crunch, and it doesn't hurt, but it's my teeth, and that's not normal.
Have you ever had those reoccurring dreams where like you do something different in the dream, and it like kind of like you move a little bit further along in your dream? Like my dream's been like an episode of a TV show. Like I've had a dream. I've died in the dream. But then I have the dream again. Yeah. I know the path I took that led to my dismay. And then I did something different. And I had more of the dream. Like it continued on because I know. I'm like, what is this?
I was like,
a choose your own adventure dream? But I've had these dreams. I've never had that.
Which fork in the road do you take?
Yeah.
You know? Wow.
No, but another reoccurring one I had is every summer we would spend a week, sometimes more, at my grandma Kirschmar's house down in Mocaine. And she had this little bitty house, but in my dream, in her bedroom, there is like a closet, and I open it, and there's steps going up. The next thing I know, I'm laying on my stomach looking down at this training facility for ninjas. I kid you not. And it's not like Grandma and I used to watch Jackie Chan together or anything like that, or Bruce Lee. I don't know where the whole ninjas thing comes, but I know I have to be quiet because they don't need to know I'm up there. That would be bad.
Aaron's like, I found the entrance to Narnia Shangri-La.
Right?
Well, it's funny you mentioned grandparents, because my grandparents had an old house in New Jersey. I mean, a very old house. And my grandfather had a dry cleaning store in the front of the house.
Yeah.
But the back, there was like an upstairs part that had like an apartment where my uncle, their son, had stayed for however number of years he lived there. And then, but the rest of the house was full of nooks and crannies. And there were certain rooms that we were never to go in. Don't ever go in that room. That sort of thing. Because I suppose that's where Grandma kept valuable things. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what it was. Although after she died, they did find like a lot of money in her house.
It might have been where she kept her stash of ribbon candy.
I don't know.
And she did not want you to get it.
But I have dreamt of that house and going up the stairs to the upper part of the house, and there was another room in that house that was like a long. To me, it seemed like a long hallway because I was a little kid. But it was a hallway that led into the store part of the house. But before you get to that part, it was like a piano, an old piano in there, and like walking through it in my dream, it's also vivid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'd walk into the dry cleaning part, and it had all the clothes hanging like in the plastic.
Right.
And you walk through the plastic like that. And like sometimes you just get lost in the plastic, in the hanging clothes.
You dreamed that, or that happened?
It's just no, I dreamed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was real. I mean, because the clothes were there. They had all the clothes hanging.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
you know. So
I see. There's a dream that I had like just a couple weeks ago, actually, and it was I was having a dream that I didn't study for my like science exam. Like I was in high school, and like. I'm like, oh man, I did everything else but study for this thing. I'm gonna fail. And I even like wake up like in that, like right before, like where you still don't realize that it was a dream.
Yep.
I woke up panicking. I'm like, I didn't stop. I want to fail that science exam.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing?
You're like,
I've been out of
30.
school for
how many years have I been?
like, why am I was like, it's still an irrational fear of mine.
It
It's like,
stays with you forever, man.
You're like, I didn't study.
School, yeah.
Okay.
We've all had that dream. You're sitting in class. You haven't been there all semester. You have no idea. You're wandering around. You don't even know what class you're supposed to be in.
Yeah.
So when we first got Magnus, he wasn't gaining weight. He was eating all the time, but he wasn't gaining weight. Took him to the vet. He had worms. So this was like an ongoing battle for our household for about 3 months. We kept treating him for worms, and he wasn't getting any better. So one night, I dreamt that I was at a random hotel. I don't know what the deal was, but I saw a jelly roll. And I was like, oh my gosh,
There's
jelly roll. And so I'm like, hey, man. And, in the radio biz, if you see somebody like that, if you get to talking to them and they're cool, you can say, hey, could you cut us a few liners?
Hey,
Like,
it's a
hey,
jelly roll.
it's a jelly roll, and you're listening to Hilly and Hart.
Hey.
And he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, well, come upstairs. Bunny and I have been, now that's his wife.
Yeah.
Bunny and I have been
Bunny's
living
in
here
this.
for weeks.
Yeah.
I've got a little recording studio. We can just bust it out right now,
It's so
and I'll
cool.
email it to you directly,
That's
and
so cool.
we'll just call it a day.
That was
I'm-
way cool of him, man.
So I'm freaking out going, this is awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks, Jelly Roll. This is great. As we're walking along, I noticed he'd lost a lot of weight. And I was like, oh my gosh. I go, you look amazing. I said, I know that was like your big goal was to drop some weight. I said, you're killing it. He goes, thanks, man. He goes, I got worms. And then I woke up.
I got worms.
So my anxiety about my dog having worms.
Wow. Translated to jelly roll.
I'm sorry, Jelly Roll. I know
Man.
there's no way you would ever have worms.
Wait a minute, Aaron. We got jelly roll in line 2.
Probably. to curse me out. What are you talking about?
I've
worms?
had this dream of like
Hang on,
with the
what's
fans.
Yeah, she said worms. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't do it as good as I do. You don't do my gag as good as I do.
No, I've had this dream. I've had that not jelly roll dream, but I've had the dream of like with a famous person.
Yeah.
But mine is funny. Like it's just very random. My dream was I was buddies with Justin Bieber, and like for no
Why?
reason. I know, just random, right? But like we like really like he was like my best friend, like growing up, like
Oh my
as
gosh!
a kid.
Oh my gosh! Please tell me you had the same haircut as him. You
We-
had like,
well,
weepy,
so fun
poopy
fact,
bangs.
I did. I used to have that haircut actually back in the
I knew
day.
it.
But no, it's crazy because like we were going out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I was hanging out with his wife Haley. He was hanging out with he would invite us. We would go backstage. It was crazy. Well, I was best friends in my dream with Justin Bieber, and it's funny because you wake up and you're like, man, I'm really not though. I'm like, but I was having a great time. It makes you wonder. You're like, I wonder if Justin Bieber was dreaming about someone random. He's like, was he dreaming about me?
Maybe.
Some random dude. I was having a great
doesn't
time.
know who it is. but-
Okay, no offense to Justin Bieber, but I'd rather hang out and be friends with Jelly.
Okay,
I know.
as long as we're talking about celebrities and dreams, I've had a recurring one my whole life.
Oh, this will be good.
Well, not my whole life because he wasn't around early on but President Reagan.
Oh, nice.
For
Yeah.
years, and
President Reagan, eh?
Were you guys friends?
There's Ronald Reagan. Yeah, we're friends in the dream.
Did he share jelly beans with you?
And
He always had some
I'll
on his
walk
desk?
in. There's some event going on or whatever, and I'll walk in, and he's like, "Oh, Kevin, come on over. Hey, how are you?" You know, like that. It was like, "Hey, how are you? How are you, Mister?" I still call him Mr. President. Mr. President, how are you? Oh, it's so nice to see you. You
You're like,
know?
Kevin, you don't have to call me that anymore. We're
Oh my
buddies.
God.
Call me Ron. No.
What in the land of nerds do you dream about?
You're
Oh my
at the
God.
White House. Ronald, I promise. Ronald,
Jordan
we're
and I
friends.
we at least dream about the music industry. You're all like, I'm going to be friends with the president.
Mine was
be
so
great.
random though. Justin Bieber, all like it's just like why it was him? No idea.
I've had another one recently, and again, this is a recur. I guess maybe most dreams are recurring. I don't know, to one degree or another.
Not always.
Okay, but I'm driving, and my brakes. I go to hit my brakes, and as much as I press on them, you know how your car is supposed to hit the brake and then you come to a stop. it would break so slowly, and like I'm getting close to it, and it's like it'll hit a wall or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. My brakes like never work on a car.
So, what are you eating before you go to bed? Because, that has a lot to do with it. You're not supposed to eat a couple hours before you go to bed.
Is that what it is?
I've had a dream where I was like,
your brakes failing?
Yeah.
You could.
No, I can't
Or being
stop.
friends with being BFFs with the president.
I've had the dream, though, where I was like in a car and then like everyone in the car just boop, gone. And I'm like in the back seat.
It's a rapture.
And then I have to like run. I'm like, no one's driving the car all of a sudden, right? And then I'm like having to like,
oh, yeah.
That's probably something like subconsciously.
You know what?
There.
I'm starting to feel a whole lot better about my dreams.
Have you ever lucid dream before?
Oh, yeah.
Where you can like control your dreams?
Yes.
That's the craziest, coolest thing.
I had one about 2 weeks ago. I was in this dream and something weird was going. I don't remember what it was.
Where you realize you're dreaming?
Right. And I go, wait a minute. I'm dreaming here.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to stay in the dream to see what, because now I can control it.
Yeah.
Because you can do anything in your dreams. I'm going to fly. Let me fly.
Yeah.
It's like, it's awesome. Once you realize that if you have that power.
Yes. See, and
it's cool.
It's funny. Typically mine ends up happening I'm like having like a horror dream, right? Where it's like something's chasing me or like something's.
Yeah,
I'm running.
I'm running through a forest.
Yeah.
You're running.
And the last time it happened, because I don't run
right.
or anything unless possibly if a clown's chasing me. But I'm running.
Do you dream about clowns?
And it's no, I do not.
She's like, thanks for putting that in my head now.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll be running through a forest, something chasing me, and then last time I had this dream happen, I heard this woman whisper, I swear, right here in my ear, surprise. And that's how I woke up.
Ooh.
Like I didn't see anybody in my dream.
That's a little creepy.
But isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
What is? Oh.
There was a dream I had where it was like it was almost impossible how close together these trees were. I was like in the woods, and there was just one path. It led through this, which you're like, I'm not going through there. It's like, it's just this cabin, ominous. You're like, there's something waiting for me in there. You can just tell, right? You're like, I've seen this movie. But like the trees were so close together, you couldn't go around the house. Like it was like I said, impossibly like close together. Like the trees were like, they made this wall. You couldn't climb them. You couldn't anything like that.
And you were like, I'm at Aaron's parents' house.
I'm like, I got to go through the cabin.
Have you ever had, because they say you can't die in your dreams. I guess because if you do, you're going to wake up or whatever. But I've had dreams where I died, but I was conscious that I had died. Like, okay.
See, I'd always heard that you can't die in your dreams because then supposedly you'll die in real life.
Right.
So, like, if you're falling from a building or something, they're like, you need to wake up before you hit. Otherwise, you're going to die. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not.
In the dream, I've, as far as I know, I've died. Okay, but I'm obviously aware still in the dream. So, I'm kind of like waiting to come back.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
You almost have like an out-of-body experience. You ever had that?
Maybe, kind of, yeah.
I've had a dream like that where like I've been like, I was in my dream, but like I was viewing myself. Have you ever had that? Like,
no.
Where it's almost like, I have that. I've had this dream where
She's like, I'm going to stop hanging around with
like
you guys.
where I've been like almost a camera, like an overshot view of like seeing me interact with other people. It was the weirdest thing.
Okay, listen, I want that from a different angle
It's
this
like
time.
I was a director of my dream. Weird things.
Man.
Also, the weirdest dream I ever had, though, and okay. This is the
now
craziest.
You can't leave it there.
I know. It was when I was a kid. I remember this so vividly. There was this. I was dreaming about this deer, like this demonic-looking deer. Weird. Not like you're like, oh, it's a deer. I mean, like elk
something
that had
to be
like
afraid of. Yeah,
like red eyes and was like mangled kind of. It was weird, right? It's strange for a kid to be dreaming about this. But anyway, it's like walking through our neighborhood, and then it sees me. I'm like peeking around the corner. It sees me in the house, and like all of my doors in the house open, and they like slide to where they're like locked, and you can't it's like I'm like, what is this? And then weirdly enough, in my dream, I kid you not, I had like subtitles in my dream.
Oh, that's awesome!
it's like I'm watching a movie. It's weird.
That's great.
But then, of course, the thing like starts charging at me, and then I run into my parents' room and get in their little laundry hamper. Like that's gonna protect me from being trampled by this demonic entity deer.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I had a recurring dream a couple of times. We lived off of the oil well road in Callaway County growing up, and the Jeff City cross country team used to like practice. They'd go out on practice runs on that stretch of road.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, we would see them jogging as, we'd be coming home from school or whatever. And I dreamt one night that I'm with my mom, we're driving along, and there's the cross-country team, they're running, but one by one they turn around, their eyes are glowing.
Oh, my God.
That terrified me as a kid.
I had I had a dream a number of months ago where it's funny because you said you had subtitles or what did you have?
Yeah, but it was like foreign subtitle. I couldn't even. I was like, it was like weird.
I had a narration. Mine was a narration, like
Really?
as the dream is happening. It was
Kevin's
almost
day didn't get better.
It was almost like you ever see the thing they have on TV, like for the blind, where they'll describe what's going on.
Okay, yeah.
Kevin opens the door and steps inside. That's kind of what it was like. It was like
so it was like every single thing.
like
you
as
did.
it's going.
Kevin notices that his Raisin Bran is getting awfully soggy.
Well, because I like vision impaired people to be able to enjoy my dreams too, so that's good. Hey, I'm a thoughtful person.
Isn't that bizarre? Me and my dad one time had the same dream. You ever had something like that happen?
No.
Oh, it was the weirdest thing. Like I remember,
Like you were in his and he was in yours.
Yes. So we had this. It was I can't even remember 100% of the dream. It was like something about. Oh, I can't even remember the details. I just remember going to my dad, talking to him about it, and his eyes he's looking at me, and he goes, I dreamt the exact same thing last night. It was the craziest
That's bizarre.
thing. I wish I remembered the dream, because you think of it, but I just remember me and him having the same dream. I was young at the time. But
That's
wow, was it weird.
crazy.
It was
That's
so
nutty.
strange.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was bonkers.
Well, if you, we love talking about dreams. Dreams are. Here's the thing: dreams are, at least in this waking life, the closest we have to, like, no restrictions whatsoever. Anything can happen in dreams. So, if you have a dream, something you've dreamt of, don't be shy about it. We're all friends here, right?
Well, yeah, after hearing Kevin and Jordan's, I think you and I feel a lot better about our mental health than we did before we started
It makes me think, what if like dreams are like everyone's conscious, like interconnected, like when you're asleep? You know how they say when you're asleep, you're like real close to death? Like what if everyone's consciousness is like you could like have other people's like what happened to them?
Depends what the Matrix allows us to dream.
Exactly,
That's
right.
what, so.
No.
But share your dreams. If you got a good one, funny one, scary ones, weird, whatever.
Or if you know what all these weird occurring dreams mean.
Yeah,
That too.
yeah.
I'd
Well,
love to know.
I introduced you, or when you talked or heard from her. Remember my friend Sally, Sally, the Dream Lady,
Yeah.
on another station.
She deciphered one of yours, right?
Yeah, she doesn't do that anymore now. And it wasn't like a psychic thing. She's just like your dreams are your subconscious way
That's what
of
I've heard.
speaking to you, and it speaks in symbolism. It uses so the teeth thing. That's where I learned about the teeth thing. If your teeth falling out, a lot of times it means like a lack of control, a fear of loss of control, that kind. Flying is a fear to be not a fear. Flying is a desire to be free. Because we all fly in our dreams, I think, right? Do you?
Oh, I've had that dream where I fly. Yeah.
Do you fly, Aaron?
No.
You don't fly in your dreams?
I'm not Superman.
I've had a dream where I could
In your
jump to the
dreams?
moon. Like I jumped to the moon, and then on the moon was a pool full of crocodiles.
Correct. No, I've had flying dreams where like I can kind of like like there's no gravity. Maybe that's the best one. And so like I can kind of scale like this in the air, get higher and higher, and then start swimming in the air, and that's my flying. And I've had people chasing me like they're on the ground, like trying to chase me. And
It's
I'm
a
like,
bird. It's a plane. It's Kevin Hilly.
I'm up in the air, like, looking down. You can't get me, like that.
Well, no, I haven't had any of
That being
that.
said, okay, well, we'll look forward to you having your first flying dream. Ask your husband if he's had flying dreams. I bet maybe it's a guy thing.
Maybe.
It could be. It could be. No, but I would like to know what meeting Jelly Roll and him telling me that he had a tapeworm. I'd like to know.
I want more of that
that means.
story. Yes,
I want
exactly.
to-
Exactly.
Check it out. It's Cat Country, KAT Country, at mailzimmer.com. If you want to comment on dreams or just anything, we'd love to hear from you. This is our KATcast, and it's about you too, not just us, but we want to hear from you as well.
Absolutely.
That's another KATcast with 94.3 Cat Country.
You've been listening to the KATcast, your weekly dose of fun from the staff you know and love on 94.3 Cat Country. Click subscribe and never miss an episode. Share it on social media and tell your friends with 94.3 Cat Country.